Hi everyone, good evening. Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, guys, just wait for 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, I think we can start now. So guys, hope you're aware of that this is going to be the demo session for MCSA, right? And we introduce now the combo of MCSA plus SCCM, right? That is Software Center Configuration Manager, and nowadays it is known as Microsoft Endpoint Configuration Manager, MECM, right? So these both are the prerequisite, right? Or if you are working as a system administrator, so in that case you must be aware of these tools, right? You must be aware about servers, how to work on servers, how to install the features, how to make an active directory, how to make the group policies, right? How to work on file servers. And then along with it, we must be aware of the SCCM tool as well. It is the most demanding tool nowadays, right now in the market, right? If you are going to the Naukri portal, right, over there, if you are searching for the system administrator, then obviously in that they will going to ask for the SCCM. They are going to ask about whether you have the knowledge of SCCM or not. Okay, so this course is going to be the combo of MCSA plus SCCM, and maybe hope you, if you are working in the IT organizations, right, maybe you all are aware of what SCCM is. So anyone of you knows about SCCM, what SCCM is, and what all we can do with SCCM?
Yes, I know.
Right. So can you please explain a bit?
Actually, SCCM, it's a remote tool. Like we can take the access of our client or user systems to perform any troubleshooting, and
Yeah.
also it is installing into the VDI application. Like it's a virtual it's a part of virtual application, not exactly, but because it is used in Citrix desktop as well, as per my knowledge.
Okay. But we can do far more. We can do more things under SCCM, right?
Yeah.
We can deploy operating system. We can
Yeah.
deploy applications, silent applications, right? Then we can do we can manage our inventory, our whole infrastructure. Yes, remote control also we will be able to do it, but remote control that you can do through RDP as well, MSTSC as well. So why to install SCCM then, right? If you are working in the organization, right,
Yeah.
in that case through MSTSC also you will be able to take the system on remote. Okay, getting my point. But yes, it is the major feature that we can do remote control as well in any of the system of our organization, right? But the main part of SCCM is to manage your inventory, right? If, and let's suppose a user has a requirement, right? He wants some let's suppose Acrobat, Adobe suite into his laptop.
Yes.
So in that case, we need to take his system on remote. We can directly deploy that application from the SCCM console and it will reflect under the user's system. I will show you, right? We are going to configure it from very scratch, from very beginning, okay? But as I am already running my SCCM batch, so I have already configured some infrastructure. So over there, I will give you a brief introduction about SCCM, okay? Maybe from there, you will be able to relate more, right? So even if you are working in the organization, right? Maybe you have seen software center in your systems. Have you ever seen it?
Yes.
Any other? Have you ever seen software center in your laptops? Anyone apart from iPhone?
Sorry, what you are asking?
I'm asking about software center. Have you ever seen software center in your office laptop, which is provided to you?
Yes, yes, sir. We are like in our organization now. We are installing all software from the software center only.
Exactly, exactly. So what it is only SCCM. How to work on it, how to deploy it, how to make SCCM environment from very scratch. So we are going to learn about that. Apart from this, as I told you, this is going to be the combo under which we are going to learn about MCSA, Active Directory, file servers, and then multiple things we are going to learn, right? Let me give you a glimpse of the topics that we are going to cover under MCSA and under SCCM as well, okay? So maybe if you have seen my earlier videos over there, I used to show the Excel file, right? Under which the topics are written, that what and all topics we are going to cover under MCSA. Okay, so you can see these are the 45 topics that we are going to cover, right? So these are my previous batches in which I am covering these topics. Okay, so first of all, we'll talk about the introduction, what MCSA is, right? And then obviously, yes, please.
Sorry, but actually, I'm not able to see your screen, sir. It is just showing blank. Sorry for the interruption.
Be visible.
Wait.
Guys, my screen is visible.
Yes.
Everyone?
Yes, for me.
Yes,
sir,
yes.
yes,
Now,
sir.
now is it visible?
Okay, okay. Can you please switch off your camera?
Me?
Yeah. And you can rename yourself also. I will not be able to, it's written iPhone.
Just a moment, sir.
Yeah.
I should. Camera is
Okay, I did it, but you can just rename yourself. Okay.
okay. I will do.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, the topics that we are going to cover under MCSA module is going to be introduction to MCSA and VMC. We do not have servers in our environment, right? I do not have the real-time server, but how we will be able to create our labs, how we will be able to create our Active Directory, our domain controllers, how to make it. So in that case, we will be using virtualization. And under virtualization, either you can use VMware or you can use Hyper-V. Depends upon you, right? I'll be giving you the glimpse of Hyper-V as well, how to work on Hyper-V, right? But majorly, I'm going to work on VMware. Why? Because if you are going for the interview, in that case also, 60 to 70% you will see that they will be asking for the VMware knowledge. Right? So just to make you handy on this tool, right? I am going to use VMware, but depends upon you. If you want to work on Hyper-V, then you can work on Hyper-V as well, right? So I will let you know on both the tools how to work, create the virtual machines, how to set up the virtual machine, right? So depending upon your infrastructure, depending upon your system, either you can use VMware or you can use Hyper-V, right? So under Hyper-V, so there is a term called virtualization. Nowadays, it is very popular, virtualization. So under virtualization, what you can do with a single hardware or in a single hardware, you will be able to create multiple operating system, multiple virtual machines. Just in my case, can you see this? Under my VMware, you can see server 1, server 2, 3, Windows 7, client 7, client 10, Windows Server 2012, and one more server. So these all virtual machines are basically using my base laptop's configuration. What and all configuration I do have available in my laptop. So these virtual machines are going to use that configuration. Okay, so if you have a good configuration, maybe if you have 12 GB or 16 GB of RAM in your laptop, then I would recommend to install VMware or Hyper-V. Right, but if you do not have a good configuration, then in that case you have to use networking labs. Over there you will be able to get the virtual machines and you have to configure them. But I would recommend to work on VMware or Hyper-V, because if you will search on the Naukri portal or any of the portal, in that case they are going to ask about, have you ever worked on VMware or have you ever worked on Hyper-V? So that is why, to clear your concepts, I would recommend you all to use your base laptop. But obviously, if you have a limitation, then in that case, you can use networking labs also. We do have the option of networking labs as well. Right? So now virtualization is basically on a single hardware. Let's suppose I bought a server with 128 GB of RAM. Or in organization also, you will be able to see that if I do have 128 GB or 256 GB of RAM in my server, in that case, under that server, I will be able to create multiple operating system. Just example is in front of you. So in my base laptop, I have installed VMware, and under VMware, I have configured these multiple virtual machine for my lab purpose. Okay, so I'll be explaining you what and all, how to configure the VM here, what and all options we can configure, right? And what and all things they can ask, interviewer can ask about VMware and all, and Hyper-V. So I will be helping you out with that part. Okay. Then this is the VMware, and we have option of Hyper-V as well. Hyper-V. So this is the product of Microsoft itself. If you are using Windows 10 or Windows 11 of Pro or Enterprise version, then in that case, it will be available in your Windows itself. No need to install it. Right? You have to just enable the feature. Okay, that you will get it under turn Windows feature on or off. If you are using Windows 10 Pro or Windows 11 Pro or Enterprise version, in that case only. Okay, in that case only you will be able to get this software in the Windows 10 itself or Windows 11 itself. So in my case, I have already enabled this feature, but if you want to enable it, you need to go to turn Windows feature on or off. Then you have to enable Hyper-V. If you are able to see Hyper-V, then you have to just check on it and say okay, and after that it will take a reboot and you will be able to see Hyper-V in your laptop. Okay, likewise I am getting see Hyper-V manager. So this is also the same. It is also called as hypervisor, right? These VMware and Hyper-V, these are called as hypervisor. Why? Because under this we can create multiple virtual machines. In my case, I have installed two VMs here. One is Nano server and the second is Windows 10. Likewise, I can create as many as I want, but depending upon the configuration of my laptop.
Sir,
Yes, please.
so what is the role of VMware, sir?
These are the hypervisors, right? Under which you will be able to create multiple virtual machines. Okay. This is the tool which is introduced by the Microsoft, and that is VMware. It is introduced by the VMware itself. So both the features and the functioning of both the tools are same, but terminology will be different, but the concept will remain same. Under Hyper-V also you are going to create virtual machines, and under VMware also you are going to create the virtual machine. The difference is basically the vendor only, right? For this, the vendor is Microsoft, and for that, the vendor is VMware.
Yes.
Okay.
Sir, do we need to enable virtualization for enabling Hyper-V or not required?
Yes,
So,
in some
So
cases.
VMware automatically, sir, VMware automatically adjust the memory, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, among the machines, sir.
Yes, it will automatically adjust, or even once we will configure the virtual machine, over there we can decide that how much configuration we want to apply to the virtual machine.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, so you were asking about, yes, sometime if virtualization is not enabled in your laptop, it
Okay.
may possible that you will not be able to create the virtual machine. So in that case, what you need to do, you need to go to your BIOS settings of the machine. Okay, and over there you have to enable the virtualization. Intel VT something you will get, Intel VT, and that thing you have to enable it, and then you will be able to create the virtual machines. Some cases it may happen, but nowadays what and all laptops we are getting from market, so in that virtualization are automatically enabled, right? But if it is not enabled, then in that case you have to first of all enable it, and then you can go with your configuration. Else you will not be able to create the virtual machines. I mean, you will not be able to use the virtualization technology. Clear?
Yeah. Okay.
Great. Okay, so these are the tools, guys, which we are going to use for our practicals in case of MCSA. Okay, and then we are going to discuss about type of domain controllers. Okay, so domain controllers are basically primary domain controller, additional domain controller, child domain controller, and read only domain controller, RODC. So I'll be explaining each and all from very scratch, right?
So, sir, why should we learn MCSA, sir?
Please.
What is the advantage of MCSA?
Okay, so advantages of MCSA. See, we all know
Yes, sir.
that at the end we have to move to the cloud, right?
Yes, sir.
And if you want to work on cloud, obviously you are going to configure servers over there.
Yes, sir.
Either it would be file server, it would be storage, or it would be any domain controller, or it would be the Active Directory. But in order to configure that, you must have the knowledge of these all things so that you can relate it with the cloud also. Directly, you will not be able to grab the concept. Okay, but if we have already gone through with all these topics, right, then it will be easy for you to grab all the concept of the cloud. So it will make your job easy if you are already aware of all these things. So this is first and all the benefit, right? So basically what it is, it basically what and all topics we are going to cover under this module. So this will specify, or this will authenticate you that yes, you have worked on the on-prem infrastructure. And believe me, like yes, 80 to 90% companies are moving to cloud, but still there will be some companies which are going to use their on-prem data centers.
Yes, sir. So it means that we can easily work on the server, sir.
Exactly. So I'll be letting you know how to work on servers, how to install the features, what and all concepts behind all these things, right? And what and all can be interview questions. Obviously, if you are going for the cloud interview as well, over there also they are going to ask about Active Directory, they are going to ask about group policies. So I'll be clearing your all concept in the MCSA. And then if you want to join Azure, or if you want to join AWS, so it will become easy for you to get all the concept of the cloud. So this is the benefit if we are already working on the on-prem infrastructure, if we have already knowledge of on-prem infrastructure, so it will gonna help us out to work on cloud as well. Got it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So DCs, then Active Directory, it is the most important topic, right? For any of the organization, obviously we have to work on Active Directory, we have to work on group policies, we have to work on organizational units, right? So we will be working on that. Then RSET tool, then group policy. It is also the most critical topic which we are covering. Then AD administrative tool, then configuring DHCP. See, these everything you can configure on cloud. Either you can configure the DC, you can configure web server, you can configure your network load balancing, everything you will be able to configure. But DHCP and all, so this should be locally available. From cloud itself, we will not be able to configure DHCP. We have to configure DHCP in our local environment. Then under DHCP, what and all things we can do? If let's suppose DHCP server will get failed, let's suppose there is a hardware issue in the DHCP in which we have configured the DHCP. So in that case, we will be needing one backup server, right? So for that, we are going to configure DHCP failover. Then DHCP relay agent. If let's suppose you want to distribute two different series of IP in your network and you want to make them communicate. So in that case, we will be using DHCP relay agent. Okay. Then FTP file transfer protocol and web server. Let's suppose you want to host a website, right? In that case, what we need to do? We have to configure a web server. Then only our clients will be able to reach to our website. You can take the example of Amazon.com. To host Amazon.com also, you have to configure one web server. Then only your customers will be able to reach to your website. Right. Then we have the topic of network load balancing cluster. Let's suppose a number of users are hitting my website. Right. So in that case, a server has its computation power. According to that, only the server will be able to respond to the queries of the client. But if a huge number of clients are hitting my website, in that case, it will get down. So how I will be able to make my website highly available? So in that case, I will configure network load balancing cluster. In that case, if let me show you with the help of diagram.
Sir, network load balancing is also part of learning, sir. MCSA.
Yes, we are going to learn. Yes.
Okay.
So this is what I'm explaining what NLB is, right? I'm just giving you a brief introduction, but once we will start our topic, I'll be explaining it from very scratch. Okay. Let me just give you the idea. Let's suppose I have configured one web server. Right. And let's suppose I have hosted one website with the name. Let's take the example of networking itself. Networkings.com.
Yeah, hi sir.
Hello.
Yeah, so just now I joined this class. So is there any important topic, Mr.?
No, we are just going to discuss about what and all topics we are going to discuss in the module.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So,
And just a quick question. I have joined your batch. I mean the MCSA course. So from when the live classes are starting?
it is going to be by next week, I believe.
Next
Next
week.
month.
Okay.
Yes. This is just a
Okay.
demo session.
Okay. Fine. So your name is Satya, right?
Yes, Sahitya.
Okay. I hope you remember me. I have texted you on the LinkedIn few days back. Yeah. No worries.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's suppose I have hosted my website on a web server, right? And number of users are hitting to my website. Users. Okay, so let's suppose these are the user. So they are accessing my website from their laptops. All right, and they are sending the request to my web server. Number of requests are like millions of requests my networking server, host server, it is getting. But it has its computation power. It has its RAM, it has its CPU. And according to the configuration only, it will be able to respond to the user's query. Acha, have you ever seen that one, the big billion sale on Flipkart or maybe on Amazon.com? So
Yeah.
initially, what was happening? Like I'm talking about 2012 or 2012 to 2016, right? So at that time, whenever the sale starts, right, their servers are just getting crashed. They were just getting crashed. Why? Because number of peoples are hitting to their servers. And at that time, they realize that yes, this computation power will not work. Either they have to configure more server or they have to configure network load balancing. Maybe at that time also they have configured the NLB, but their servers were not as much capable to respond to the queries of the users. Because at that time, millions of users are accessing the Amazon.com or Flipkart.com. Just to make our website highly available, what we can do, we can configure network load balancing. We can configure network load balancing. In that case, I will add multiple servers and I will host my website onto multiple servers. In that case, what will happen? If let's suppose this server is overloaded, then the request will be transferred to the second server. The user still will be able to access networkings.com or any of the website. Same way, if this server will get overloaded, then my request will be sent to this server. That means I am making my website highly available for my customers, right? And my customers will be able to access what and all services I am providing. Same way, under a NLB, under a network load balancing cluster, I can add maximum of 32 servers, 32 clients I can add under a cluster. Means this
Sir, a small question.
yes, please.
For example, like YouTube have multiple servers, right?
Exactly.
So for example, if I am accessing YouTube from India, like where do my request goes? Like, like YouTube have multiple servers overall
Data
geographical location. Yeah.
right. So obviously, if let's suppose if obviously first of all it will send to the India data center, right? And if my
Okay.
India data center is down, then in that case the request will be sent to any other location, any other geographical location. But they have just configured in a manner like it will not get ever down. But yes, if there is a disaster, if it is a natural disaster, right, in that case it may possible the request will be transferred to any other location. Right?
Okay, sir. Yeah.
So this is how, guys, we will be able to configure the NLBs, and under NLB you can add 32 servers and you can make your website highly available for your customers. Now same concept is available on cloud as well. Right, same thing you can configure on Azure, same thing you can configure on AWS. But if you do not have the knowledge, if you do not have aware of that what NLB is, how the request is getting traveled, right, how we are making the servers highly available, so you will not be able to understand the concept on cloud also. Okay, so that is why MCSA is there. That is why we are going to learn some topics here so that it will gonna help us to work on cloud, to understand the cloud concepts. Okay.
So,
Yes,
hello.
please. Yes, please.
Just to confirm one thing, like as per the topic we discussed, like it works on the available network. I mean, it gives us the best path. So,
Right.
like, is that thing also work on on routing protocol?
Sir, question hour
Routing
should be
doesn't
last
matter
time.
here.
Interrupting, sir. Sometimes we are asking question in midpoint.
Yeah, just a second. Just a second. Let me explain. Let me explain. So routing doesn't matter here, first of all.
Mhm.
The all thing matter is the computation power. Means what you can do. Okay, what I will do is, okay, let's take the example again. Let's suppose onto this server,
Mhm.
I have configured one rule, or
Mhm.
I have configured one condition. If
Mhm.
the threshold value of my CPU comes
Mhm.
up to 80%,
Mhm.
then the request will be transferred to the second server.
Okay.
Likewise, onto this also, if the threshold value of this CPU also comes up to 80%, then the request will be transferred to the second server. Likewise, routing protocol doesn't matter here.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just talking about the computation power, configuration only.
So
Routing is
that
the
would be kind of like it providing the backup of storage data.
yes, of your website, highly availability of your website.
Mhm.
Okay, it will gonna provide you the highly availability of your website. In that case, it may also possible that this server is down. Let's
Mhm.
suppose there is some issue onto this server. So
Mhm.
in this case also, what it will do is it will send your request to the server which is available, and the users will be able to access the website onto their laptops.
Okay, so the cluster and the failover cluster is the same thing, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so this is making your infrastructure highly available. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so this is the concept, guys. NLB, right? And then we have profiles and folder redirection, type of trust. So there is basically trust. Let's suppose you maybe you have heard about some of the companies are merging, right? Vodafone and Idea companies got merged,
Mhm.
right? So in that case, obviously Vodafone will be having their own Active Directory.
Mhm.
Vodafone will be having their own Active Directory server,
Mhm.
and Idea will be having their different one.
Yeah.
But if the companies got merged, so do I need to create again a new Active Directory, a new domain controller?
No, sir.
No. What I can do, I can configure the trust between both the forest. I
Mhm.
can configure the trust between both the domains so that the users of Vodafone will be able to access the resources of Idea. Likewise, the users of Idea will be able to access the resources of Vodafone. Because if I need to set up a new domain controller, that in it, then it is going to be a huge task. Yes, we can do it. We can do it. We can configure if we have time, right? And if we have resources, obviously we can set up a new domain controller. But I'm saying that we have a opportunity to configure the trust between both the forests. Then why to create unnecessary mess? Right? So what we can do, we can just configure the trust. So basically there are multiple type of trust, that is parent child trust, shortcut trust, forest trust, right? Tree root trust, right? So these all how to configure it and what is the concept behind this, so we will be learning in this topic. Okay, then NAT is also a topic. Yes, it is related to networking, but NAT also we can configure in our server as well. So yes, this is a topic for routers, right? We can
Yes, yes.
configure NAT on routers.
Mhm.
But let me clear one thing, that server can also act as a router.
Mhm.
On a server also you can configure netting, and you can get internet on your private series of network. Okay, how you can get internet on your machines? How you are
Because
getting internet on your machines? Yes, please.
via IP address.
Yeah, IP address. Which IP address? Public
It's
or
a-
private?
It's
About the ISP.
Public.
Public. Right. Yes, we can get IP from public IP. Then just let me know one thing. If let's suppose, guys, mute yourself, please, please, please. If just take an example, right? Let's suppose I have thousands of machines available in my laptop. Oh, sorry, in my organization. Thousands of laptops available in my organization, right? And I want to use internet on all the machines. So do I need to get public IP for all the machines?
No, no, sir.
Because obviously if I need to get public IP, I need to connect with ISP, and then ISP will going to charge for that IP, right? Then how I will be able to use internet?
Through NAT, sir.
NAT. That is called network address translation. And let me give you a lifetime example of netting. See, I am using internet on my laptop right now. Okay, and let's check what series of IP I am getting. See, it is 192.168.29.101, but it is the private range. Right?
Yes.
But it is the private range. Still, I'm able to connect with you. I'm able to communicate with you. You will be able to communicate with me. So that is all because the netting is configured onto my router. That is why what and all devices connected to my router, the all devices are getting private range of IP. And because of netting, I am able to use internet on my all devices. Okay.
Yes.
So the same thing, yes, it is configured on router, and even in organizations also. I'm not denying, even in companies also, it will be configured on your routers. Right. But server has also the feature, server can also act as a router.
Yes.
Okay. Then file and print management. If you have to use printers in your organization, so do we need to connect individually printers to all the machines of our office?
No.
So what we can do, we can just configure a central print server, and that central print server can be connected to whole of our infrastructure, and the users will be able to take printout. They will be able to scan their documents. Right? So this we are going to run under file and print management. So as I told you, server can act as a router, right? So you will be able to configure VPN as well. Maybe for now you are configuring VPN on your firewalls.
Yes.
Right? But on server also you can configure VPN. Yes, it is not meant, but it can act, it can configure, we can configure. Right? Because we have a separate devices, separate security devices for VPN and all firewalls, right? I'm not denying that we have to configure it on server only, but if we have a small infrastructure, if we have a small organization, if we are a beginner, right? If we are a startup, so in that case, obviously firewall, it will cost around 5 to 6 lakhs, right? And server, it is the part we have to buy the server, because we have to set up AD, we have to host our website and all. So in that case, onto server itself, we will be able to configure VPN. And then later on, we can think about the firewalls at all. Right. Then remote desktop services, RDS, data deduplication, BitLocker, FSRM, file server resource manager, then storage and storage techniques like SAN, NAS. Okay. And then FSMO role. This is also the critical topic if you are going for the interview. Right? They are going to ask about what is FSMO, what and all FSMO roles are, what are the features, what is the features of FSMO roles. Okay, so we are going to learn about this. Then shadow copies, then DFS replication and namespaces, then Windows Server update services, patching. If you want to deploy, if you want to deploy the updates in your organization, right? So in that case, either we can get the updates from Microsoft directly, or what we can do, we can set up a locally WSUS server, and then through local WSUS server, we will be able to deploy the updates for our client machines. Okay. Then FSMO roles seize and transfer. Let's suppose I have configured one primary domain controller, and that primary domain controller is totally goes down. There is a hardware issue onto the DC, onto the hardware, mean to say server. So in that case, obviously we have to build a new server. But with the help of FSMO roles, seize and transfer, we will be able to transfer the roles from our existing PDC to new PDC to new server, and then the new server will act as a primary domain controller after transferring the roles. Right? Then AD migration or upgradation. If let's suppose I have configured my domain controller on 2012 server and I want to upgrade into 2019. So in that case, this is going to be the topic, right? Then ADFS, Active Directory Federation Services. Then backup, how to configure the backup, how to configure the schedule of the backup, right? And how to, let's suppose if something goes delete, how to retrieve the backup, right? So under backup topic, we are going to learn about that. Then WDS, that is called Windows Deployment Services. If let's suppose I want to install the operating system in my new laptops, so no need to use pen drives, no need to use DVD. We can directly install the operating system with the help of network. Okay, so that is called WDS. Then RAID is also an important topic. Then nano server is only available in server 2016. Apart from 2016, you will not get this feature in 2019 or 2022 server. Okay, the latest version of operating system is Windows Server 2022. Okay. And then AD sites and services, IFM installed from media, IPAM, that is IP address access management, under which if let's suppose you have multiple DNS server in the environment, if you have multiple DHCP server in the environment, so you need not to go onto the server, each and every server. You can manage them from a single server itself. Okay, so that is called IPAM. Then failover in file server also. Let's suppose you want to make your file server highly available for your customers. So in that case, you have to configure failover file server, right? Then DNS, how DNS works, what and all things involved in the DNS, how to make a DNS server, how to send the query, how to resolve the query. So this we are going to learn under DNS. Then forest and domain function level, and then Active Directory certificate services, then NIC teaming, and then last but not the least, it is PowerShell. So these all the topics we are going to learn under MCSA, and it will going to take around 45 to 50 hours. Right? So this is the topic of MCSA. And then let's talk about MECM, SCCM.
Sir, a small question.
Yes, please.
Can you tell the difference between this Active Directory and DC domain controller?
Active DC is basically a hardware on which you are installing the Active Directory.
Okay, it's like a physical server.
Exactly.
Okay.
So one more.
Yes, please.
Sorry for the interruption.
No problem.
What is the difference between MCSA and MCSC?
Okay, MCSA is basically a administrator, a beginner level, right? And then MCSA is the expertise under which you are going to give the solution to your clients. Let's suppose your client has a query or he has a requirement to set up an infrastructure. In that case, MCSCE will going to give the best solution that how you can work on or how we can configure the infrastructure. Then it is the responsibility of administrator. As per the solution, you have to configure the infrastructure.
Okay.
Okay.
So could you share your contact number? I need to call.
Okay, we'll talk about this. Once we will start our classes, then we'll going to make a WhatsApp group, and over there we can have the discussions. Okay.
By the way, you calling from Noida itself or Bangalore or any other?
I'm working from my home.
No. I mean, your center, is it in Bangalore or Noida or Delhi?
Bangalore.
Okay. Actually, I'm calling from Noida, sir.
Okay. Okay. We'll talk about this later on. So now, MECM, what and all topics we are going to cover under this, I will let you know. Then first of all, what is SCCM or MECM? Nowadays it is called MECM. Earlier it was called as SCCM, that is Software Center Configuration Manager. But nowadays it is called as Microsoft Endpoint Configuration Manager. Okay. Then I'm not explaining the things, right? What is primary site, what is central site? We will be explaining. I'll explain it later on once we'll start the topic. Okay. But I am going to explain the topics that we are going to cover.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, this is the module 1, around 15 module. It should be 14 or 15. Yes, 15 modules we are going to cover under SCCM. Okay. Okay, then first of all, overview of System Center Configuration Manager. What is System Center Configuration Manager? What and all things we can perform, how to build a site, how to plan or how to architect, what is central site, what is primary site, what is secondary site, right? So we will be talking about this in the module 1, and then we will configure the primary site deployment, under which we have to configure Active Directory, we have to configure database server, and we have to configure one SCCM server, MECM server. Okay, then we'll configure primary site. Primary site is basically from where we are going to deploy the data, we are going to distribute the data, right? So either we can distribute the operating system from our primary site, we can distribute the softwares from our primary site, we can manage our inventory. Okay, everything we will be do through the primary site. Okay, then discovering and organizing. Discovering and organizing resources means how you will be able to add the resources in your primary site. How the primary site will be able to understand this, that yes, I have to add these resources into my database. For that, we have to configure the boundaries. We will define the boundaries. We have to add our forest, so that what and all devices available in my forest, my primary site will be able to identify them. Once it will identify, then only I will be able to distribute the data among the devices. Okay. Then managing the configuration manager client, right? Obviously, we have to install the agent also, configuration manager agent also, so that the agent will report to the client. Sorry, the agent will report to the host server, that is primary server, and then what and all things we need to perform with the client, we will be able to do it. Okay, so this also we are going to, and it is needed. Even you can see, if you have your company's laptop with you right now, go to control panel, and over there you will be able to see the configuration manager.
Yes.
Right, so that is the thing, that is the client that we have to install on each and every device of our organization. Then only we can manage it through our primary server. So it is mandatory. Okay. Then you can see managing inventory and software metering. Let's suppose you have a requirement. Obviously, in the organization, it is always recommended that you should use the licensed version in the organization. Piracy is not recommended. right? So in that case, let's suppose there is a requirement. Your managers want to know that, let's suppose I have installed Adobe Suite in your laptop, right? And I want to check that for how long you are using that tool. I want to prepare a report for my manager, that my manager told me that if a user is not using that tool from last 30 days, so just revoke the license of all the users. Then why to give unnecessary license, right? It is costing me. So why to give license if they are not working on the tool? Then why should I install onto their laptop? Why should I install that tool into the laptop? So that report I can get through the software metering. I can apply software metering for that particular user or for that particular device, right? And then I will be able to extract the information that for how long user has used that particular software. Okay. See guys, this is the day-to-day routine work of this is the routine work of the SCCM administrator. Maybe for now you are not able to relate it, but if you are going to if you are going to had a word with your SCCM administrator, which are, or the employees which are working on the SCCM, so you will be able to understand what is the importance of this tool. And I would recommend to have a word with your colleagues, right? So that you will be able to understand that why it is so important nowadays. Okay. Then querying and reporting data, how to get the reports. So we have to create the query, right? And that query should be run on the database server, and according to that query we will be able to get the response. So I'll be helping you out how to create the queries and how to prepare the reports. Okay. Let's suppose you want to identify that what and all systems are installed with operating system Windows 10. Right. So I have to just write a query that I would just want the information of Windows 10 only, and I will get the report. So I can extract that report either in PDF or in CSV or in Excel file, and I can share that report with my manager. Okay. Then managing software deployment by using application and package model. How to deploy the applications through SCCM, right? So we are going to learn under this software deployment using application and packaging model. Okay. Then managing software updates. So this is also, let's suppose I have installed one software, right? And next day update comes. So how I will be able to deploy that update? Obviously, I have to make my infrastructure up to date. So in that case, through this update services, I will be able to deploy the updates either for my Microsoft product, right? Or for any third-party product also, I will be able to send the update. Okay. Then managing operating system deployment, OSD. Right. So this is also under WDS also you can deploy the operating system, right? But nowadays we used to do it through SCCM. See, I have told you in MCSA also we are going to learn about WDS, Windows Deployment Services. Right. The same thing is available in SCCM also with some extra features. Right. And then the 10th is implementing endpoint protection. Right, you can create the compliance report also. If you have heard about vulnerability management, so has anyone of you heard about vulnerability management?
Yes.
Right. So to make your infrastructure compliant with your rules, right, and to run a scan for whole infrastructure, that what and all systems are vulnerable. So in that case, we can manage or we can create the endpoint protection, right? Then under managing compliance and settings and profiles, so this is also the one and same thing, but this is for the operating systems. No, sorry, this is for the softwares. You want to identify that what and all softwares are installed with particular update, right? And you want that if the system are installed with the new updates, then it will be compliant. If it is not installed with the new update, then it will be non-compliant, and you have to take the necessary action onto the non-compliant machines. Right, so this thing we can do automatic also. If let's suppose if any of the system is non-compliant, so in that case we can just define the rules so that it will make compliant automatically. We have to just write a set of rules, and then automatically that machine will take the update and it will then become as a compliant machine. Okay, then MDM, mobile device management, in tunes, right? You will be able to manage your mobile devices also. Nowadays, you used to install Outlook, you used to install Teams in your phone, Android phone, the Apple iOS, right? So how to manage them? So maybe you are not able to copy any of the data. Let's suppose you are using Teams, right? And you want to copy any chat into your local phone. You will not be able to copy it.
Yes.
So that is all because you are managing it through the Intunes. You are managing it through the mobile device management. Then configuring power management and remote control. So this is the thing that you were talking about, that you will also be able to take the systems on remote. Right? If let's suppose your IT team wants to troubleshoot on some of the issues going on the laptop, so in that case no need to go physically onto the user's seat, so you can directly take the system on remote through the RC tool. Right? And then overview of configuration management, site maintenance. Let's suppose you have configured the previous version of SCCM and you want to upgrade it to the newer version. So in that we are going to discuss about how to upgrade the existing SCCM module. Okay. And the last, but again not the least, it will be secondary site. How do you configure secondary site? Why the secondary site is needed, right? How we will be able to deploy the updates from secondary site. So we are going to discuss in the module 15. Right? So this is all about the SCCM module and the topics that we are going to cover. And now let me show you. Okay, this configuration, these labs, what and all topics we have discussed, these labs we will be able to deploy it onto the Azure only. So we are going to use Azure portal to configure all these labs. Why? Because for this I will be needing minimum 32 GB of RAM in the laptop. And even I do not have the 32 GB. So we will be configuring these labs onto the Azure portal. Okay. And let me give you the glimpse of the portal and the SCCM server.
So sorry,
Please.
in case I missed, when is your batch starting, sir, and what are the timings?
Saf, it is going to be from next week, and the timings will be 8 p.m. IST.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's going to be weekday?
No, it is weekend. Oh yeah, it's weekday. Sorry.
Oh.
Weekdays.
Oh, okay.
Regular
And
batch.
and all days, right?
Yes. No.
Monday through Friday.
Monday to Friday. Yes. Weekends will be off.
Okay. Thanks.
Sir, hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Are you now working, sir? In working or sir, you're only
Yeah.
teaching?
I'll just give me 10 minutes. I'll let you know about everything. Okay. For me,
Okay.
Okay. So what you can do?
Should we create account in Azure Microsoft for this performing this lab of SCCM?
For SCCM, it is mandatory because 32 GB RAM. If you have 32 GB RAM, you can configure it in your own laptop. I do not have any issue. Right? But if you do not have, then in that case, we have to create it onto the Azure itself.
I think Azure is the best solution for
Yeah. Even you will get the, the basic idea of Azure also. right? How to create the virtual machines, how to make them communicable, how to make machines that that they should be able to communicate. So you will get the idea. Okay.
Also one more question, sir. But
Yeah.
at the end of the session, like
Hmm.
what was the career path in after this? Like after doing the MCA or after
MCS.
that, like Azure, and so I
Yeah.
want to know also that thing also.
Actually, that we can discuss once we will start our classes, right? Because at 8 p.m. there is a batch. MCSA batch is already going on. So even I'll be taking 10 to 15 minutes more, and then I'll be explaining each and everything in the next class. Okay.
No issue, sir.
Yeah. So I'm just going to show you the SCCM console. Maybe if you have seen in your organization or if you are working, so you will be able to relate it. Okay. So first of all, if I need to create a SCCM infrastructure, in that case, I need to configure database, I need to configure domain, and I need to configure primary site. Right. So this lab I have configured for my previous batch, right? And you can see SS1, I have configured secondary site also. Okay. So for now, we are going to just work on these 4 servers, and later on, I will let you know what is secondary site and how we can work on it. Okay. And let me refresh. Okay,
Sir,
suppose
is this similar to VDI, like virtual desktop interface?
which one?
VDI, like in our organization, some of the people use clients machines through VDI,
Yes,
virtual desktop interface.
yes. No, but this is not VDI. This is the Azure thing. Under
Okay.
Azure, you are getting virtual machine. VDI is some other different thing, different part.
Okay.
Yes, it works as like same, right? But the concept is different. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so all these machines are running now, and I have a tool called RDC Manager, under which I have added all my virtual machines which are running on Azure. Right. So this is the MECM server. Let me take the console of it. And this is database. Okay, it is asking for the password. Okay, no worries. Right. Let's connect with domain also. Yeah, it is logged in. See, this is client 10 machine, right? Earlier we took this machine as Windows 10, right? But now after configuring SCCM, I upgraded this machine into Windows 11. So this also we can perform with the help of SCCM module. Okay. So this is the SCCM server. Okay. And this is going to be the console. So basically these things are mandatory: database, domain, and MECM. These are mandatory. These Office 365, all things I have deployed with the help of SCCM only. Okay, meanwhile it is getting connected. Yeah, it is getting connected. I'll show you client 10. See, it is not client 10, it is Windows 11, right? And I'll show you Software Center also. This one, right? So you need to go to Software Center. So what and all softwares are installed onto this machine? That all are installed with the help of SCCM, right? And under this Software Center, I will show you the products that are being deployed from the SCCM. See, so these all the softwares are basically deployed from the SCCM console, and under Software Center, I am able to see. And if I need to install, let's suppose I want to install Firefox, right? So now user will automatically, he will be able to install the software. It is getting installed and you will be able to see it under the Windows 10 machine, right? Likewise, I have upgraded this machine onto Windows 11, right? So this you can see into the operating system, and you can see Windows 11 format and image I have deployed. For now, status is showing failed. So you can just ignore it for now, right? You can see it is already installed. So maybe there is some issue. That is why it is showing failed. Maybe I have to take the reboot again and it will show as the installed. But you can see Windows 11 is installed onto this system, right? And let's suppose if there is a update, any Microsoft update I need to deploy, so it will be visible under updates, right? And this will be the application. And I believe Firefox is installed. Okay, it is failed. Maybe some issues there. Yeah, because I have changed it. Sorry. I have changed this machine. Okay, even if you want to verify onto your machine, right? So then you can go to control panel, right? And if you are able to see this, this is the agent, guys. This is the agent that needs to be installed onto each client machine so that you will be able to manage them from your SCCM server.
Sir, after installation, it will ask for any admin privileges, or it will install directly.
That also we can define.
Okay,
If you
okay.
want, it should ask for the admin privileges. That also we can do. Or if you want, the user will be able to do it, right? Or if
Yeah.
you want that the install will not visible, it will install automatically. Silent installation if you also want. So that is also possible.
Okay.
We have different scenario, we have different case studies. So according to the scenarios, definitely I will let you know where actually the admin privilege is required, where actually it is not needed, and where actually you want to do the silent installation. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So I have a small query.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Is there any difference between for the job role for SCCM and Exchange Server?
No, it could be the club of both the roles. If you are going for a system administrator interview, right?
Yeah.
Or if you are going for a senior system administrator, so in that case they will gonna ask about Exchange, they will gonna ask about SCCM, right? Yes, if you want to get the hike, in that case you have to learn more technologies. Okay, so this is going to be the add-on if you are going for the senior profile. It is mandatory for us. So why you may get around 30 to 35 or maybe 50,000 in case you are working in India. But if you want to grow yourself, in that case you have to add on, you have to upgrade yourself in terms of technology. Okay.
And one more thing, you were discussing that trust.
Yes.
Suppose like you works for TCS and
Yes.
I works for entity,
Right.
but we both are working for Worley project. So in
No.
that case, the domain will be same. Like
No.
my name is.
No, if it is, if your company is not, if they are not agree to create the trust between both the domains,
Yeah.
right? So it is not possible, or it is not recommended. Until or unless they have agreed to merge themselves, then it is needed. We can create the trust.
Okay.
Okay. For this thing, we can get multiple other options if you want. So we can get multiple other options. Okay, so this is the console, guys, right? Under which you will be able to see these are the devices. For now, I have only installed 3 or 4 devices, so you will be able to see them only. Database domain India VM1, MECM PS, and then MECM SS1. But in real time, you will be able to see thousands of devices here.
Mhm.
And it can be 50,000, it can be 1 lakh, depending upon your like nature or depending upon the strength of your organization. Okay, so this from here you will be able to manage them. And this is the software library. Under the software library, you can go to application management and you can go to applications, right? So what and all applications I have deployed, that I have deployed from this console. You can see 7-zip, Google Chrome, 365, Office 365, Mozilla, Putty, VLC media player. So everything is getting installed from Zoom, right? So it is all getting installed from here, right? Likewise, we have a application group also, right? If let's suppose you want to create an application group, under application group you want to add 5 or 10 applications. So you want to create a group, and under that group you can add 10, 15, 20, whatever number of application you want to do, and you will be able to deploy it onto your client machines.
Mhm.
Okay, and I think I have created the packages also. Yeah, so these are the packages. In case, see, majorly application, if you are creating the application, in that case, it will work with the .msi package.
Mhm.
But if you do have a .exe, in that case, we have to create the packages.
Mhm.
Okay, so these are the .exe packages.
Yes.
Either you can create the package for MSI or you can create the .exe, but majorly it is used for the .exe only.
Mhm.
Okay, and then this is the monitoring part, from where you will be able to monitor your infrastructure, or you can send the query, or even you can see the hierarchy also, that what and all servers are configured in your environment. Okay, you will be able to check it. See, for me now, one primary site and one secondary site is configured. Why it is not connected? Because for now it is turned off, right? Once I will turn it on, it will be green. Likewise, under this primary site, I will be able to add multiple secondary sites depending upon my locations. Okay. Then this is going to be the administration tab, under which what and all configuration you have to make, or what and all changes you have to make, that we can do it from the administration. Right? So guys, this is the console. For now, I haven't explained as much, but once we are going to once we are going to start these topics, so I will be explaining you each and everything. And the installation only is going to take around 6 to 8 hours. It's a huge, a number of steps are installed to configure SCCM server. So we have to go step by step, and we will be able to create the SCCM server. So I have the PPTs available already for the SCCM and for MCSA. I have the interview question for MCSA as well as for SCCM, right? And even as per my current, you can say experience, I will be explaining you how companies are working, right? So this is all about, guys, the topics and the module under this combo, that is SCCM plus MCSA. So I would recommend you all to just be ready. And even I am going to create one classroom, Google Classroom link also. So over there you will be able to download each and every PPT. Let me show you how it looks like. So see, for every batch I have configured the classroom. Okay, you can see Azure, MCSA, MECM, MCSA. So for every batch I have configured the classroom. Okay, and under this you will be able to see the classwork, under which I have added PPTs, assignments, interview question, and what and all study material related to that topic, you will be able to see under study material. Let me show you of the MECM batch. Yeah. So this is the classroom, and under this you can see study material, right? So everything is configured, or everything, this is the interview questions, right? And this is study material part 1. So I will be giving you out each and every PPT of the topics, so that I will recommend you to just understand the concept. That's it. Lab, at last we will be able to do it, because we have multiple PPTs under which the process is defined, right? What and all option you need to select, everything is defined in these PPTs, right? The major thing is to just understand the concept. Just try to understand it, right? And then with the help of these PPTs, if you are not able to configure it, then obviously I am there. You can just ask me anytime, right? We can have a session for your queries, right? We can have a session if you're not able to configure your labs. So we can have a separate session, and I will be helping you out how to that if you are facing any kind of issue during your configurations, right? So this I will create a separate classroom for you as well, under which you will be able to get interview questions as well as the study materials, and what and all topics we are going to cover. I'm going to update that as well. Okay, so any query so far, any confusion so far?
So one more thing,
Yes, please.
uh, like even after learning those things, for the better opportunities, should we need to learn cloud as well, or the cloud topic would be
Cloud
covered?
is mandatory. After this, cloud is not included, to be very honest, if in this, because yes, under SCCM I will be helping you out that what and all things we can learn for virtual machines,
Yeah.
right? That I will be explaining you. But Azure has or the cloud has its multiple modules, right? So for that
Yes,
you
yes.
have to join the separate cloud batch, and onto that you will be getting the you will be able to get the features, and you will be able to get what and all options that we can configure under cloud.
Honestly, I have I'm just confused about that. Like, I can the material you have provided. What are the things? I'm really impressed with that. But the thing is that, like, I'm also confused myself. Like, should I learn the MCSA first, or uh, I should go for the cloud app? Because
Right.
I've
So
yeah.
first of all, it should be MCSA.
Yes, yes.
From there, you will be able, if you have not ever worked on servers,
Yeah.
if you are not aware about servers, then go for first of all MCSA.
Yeah.
Right. Then you can go for cloud. Then you can decide your cloud. Either you can go for Azure or you can go for AWS.
Yes, yes.
Right. Then after learning these side by side, if let's suppose you are working as a system administrator, right? Or if you are working as a Windows admin, in that case, you can also learn SCCM or plus Office 365 also. So this is just a add-on things, right? So that you will be able to get more hike on your current package.
Okay.
Okay, so the major thing is the zero from scratch we have to start. If you have to start, then we have to learn MCSA first of all, right? Then later on we can go with Azure, and side by side you can learn SCCM also.
Okay.
Okay, so the track is like first of all MCSA, and then you can go for Azure, and then along with Azure you can learn SCCM.
But the thing is that, like, so you said, like, to install the VM, hypervisor, we should have the better RAM in my laptop.
Exactly.
But my, like, it's not compatible, I think, because my laptop is too old. And the second thing, you will provide the online class. So what would, like, how would I manage these things? Sir?
Yeah, in that case you can use networking labs itself. I have I have explained that you can use networking labs also. Let me show you how it looks like. Oh, where it is. Just a second. I have bookmarked somewhere. Yeah, this one. So you can just log in here.
Mhm. Honestly, I have the theoretical knowledge of these things, but I haven't done the practical.
Yeah, so these things
That,
need to learn here.
yeah.
This is why only even I'm not going to cover theoretical. I am going to cover the practical as much as practical things. Okay. I forgot the password of my account. I forgot my password, guys. Anyways, in the next class, I will let you know the password. And maybe I have to reset it.
So what about the charges of this course?
That you need to connect with networkings. I am not the one, and I'm not the correct person.
So if you have any contact number, you can share.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
will call.
sure. You can connect with the networking team. You can go to their website, right?
Mhm.
And over there you will get the uh, customer support.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Now, just a second. Just before we wrap up,